Hello, my friend. Welcome to the Goddess Breath podcast. I'm Dr. Mari Castle. Thank you for being here. And I'd like to start with let's take a breath, right? Let's just pause. Take a breath. Can be a game changer. Breath is medicine and it can help us in so many ways we don't even know. But start to be aware, conscious, intentional. So, for today, what I have in store for you is to talk about the sacred feminine energy. As if you've been following, I'm now in this series of working with the sacred masculine and feminine energies within. And I'll talk a little bit about different archetypes like Inanna with the divine feminine energy and how that interacts with us in our everyday. But I really wanted to sort of give you an understanding of the sacred feminine because if you're not even familiar with that, then, it could be, I could be going off in a direction that isn't going to be suitable if you aren't familiar at all with that. So, yeah. And, to start out, I think it's important to recognize well, breath is like kind of a feminine aspect because it's very much uh, meant like we're our breath, our inhale and our exhale, we don't have to pay attention to. But when we do, that's when the transformation happens. But otherwise, we're just going status quo, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. And sometimes then we do different things, activities or whatnot. Our breath increases naturally, and or we want to do things to help our cardiovascular system so that we don't run out of breath when we're doing things, right? But all in all, for me, breath is based on we're thinking of the feminine and the masculine. It's feminine in that we don't have to think about it. Now, when we do think about it, this becomes sort of action oriented, and depending on what our intention or purpose is, can then be activated through the masculine energy. I just wanted to explain that really quick. But what I want to get to is that we are so busy in our everyday lives that we don't take time to pause and we have to hold up. We have to get things done. I'm guilty of this. I'm saying it because this is what I need to hear for myself. And the thing is that it doesn't have to be that way. It's a story, right? I've told myself, oh, I've got to get this done. And then the story is that I want to relax more. I want to feel more balanced, more integrated. So I don't have to always hold up. I don't have to be so rigid and tough and pushing forward. I don't, I don't have to keep running on empty or do things for other people because I think that's going to make it so they like me. I can be just who I am and not run myself out of air, so to speak, right? So, yeah. And then this constant multitasking that we all do, or many of us are guilty of, maybe not everybody, but quite a few. I know a lot of multitaskers. I would say my mother probably was one person in my life that didn't multitask, and I really appreciated that about her. Um, but in any case, it does seem for me that the inner to-do list never stops, and I held space for people and check in with other people, but I forget to check in for myself. And I'm doing that more and more and more. And so I'm happy about that. I'm proud of myself because I'm tired of being exhausted by doing stuff that's just, it's in my head. It's what I'm coming up with that I think is necessary, but it's not. It's just a story of some sort. And I feel like that it's a general consensus that we tell ourselves these things. But that's what the world celebrates, right? Getting things done, being productive, being efficient, doing what you say you're going to do, reliability, consistency, certainty, and all of that. But no one's handing out awards for hanging out, resting, tapping into your intuition, or just being. There's no accolades somehow for that. I'm giving myself accolades the more that I do that. And I want that for you as well. And if this applies to you, that is. It may not, but if it does, that's what I want for you. So let's think of, these qualities within that maybe we're longing. I talked about that in the last episode. What are you craving? What is it that you want? What is your intuition telling you that is going to be good for you? And what if your sensitivity as a human being sensitive, say, oh, you're so sensitive. That can be a really good thing, right? It doesn't have to be a weakness. We don't have to think of it as a weakness. It can be a superpower. How about that? Sensitivity is a superpower. And what if your softness, being gentle, slowing down, wasn't something to feel like you're not doing enough, but something that is desperately needed. And you don't have to hide it. You can just be out with it, right? I'm going to take a nap today and be okay with that, right? We kind of, oh, took a nap. Whoa, right? But that's a good thing. In Europe, people take naps, or they at least take a break during the middle of the day. I've been in places in Europe where everything shuts down. So that's what I'm talking about. But again, when I'm talking about these things, I'm not talking about gender. I'm talking about a way of being that is listening to what we need and honors our cycles, honors the cycles of resting, doing, being, and trusting in your emotions, and then continuing with every day as if you're just listening to what your inner guidance brings. How does that sound? That, to me, I don't know. I get a little like, oh, I got to have a plan. So I'm just saying, I'm talking about me. Maybe you relate. So let's think about like a feminine archetype. And if we think about Mother Mary in the Catholic Church, the divine feminine, she's known as a biblical figure, but she has this energy of compassion, of stillness, being nurturing, grace, right? And Inanna, the ancient goddess Inanna, you knew I was going there. In her fullness, she's not just the warrior goddess. She's a lover. She's creative. And she's holds up the rituals and the sacred temples as a leader. So we're talking not about a passive role. That's not what I'm referring at all about or referring to, but that this is a deeply receptive role, a kind of power within that's not dominating, but draws things in energetically. And this could be holding space for people that is going to allow people to feel safe and at ease. So this is something, like I said, you might be doing all the time, and you might already be that leader that's strong for others, teacher, mother, all that. But that the idea of softening feels unsafe or lazy is wrong. It's not what we're after. And that's the thing, is we have to shift our mindset of what we are thinking of in these perspectives of energies. And yeah, so many people are, we've been given a certain perspective or a certain outlook, and then we think that that's what it is, and it never changes. But the reality is, what our parents grew up with, my parents particularly, isn't the same outlook and of energies as it is today. So it does change. And that also is part of cycles. Nature changes. Nature is also very feminine. Well, nature is very balanced. And so I won't go into all that with what particularly represents the feminine in nature. I'll talk about that in another episode. But yeah, I want to do a little breath practice with you, and then we'll close. It's kind of how I'm doing these episodes. Introducing right away, a little breathing, and then we're closing with a nice practice of breathing. And this is a breath practice for softening. So let's try this. Just place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Close your eyes if that feels right for you. And we're going to just kind of do a nice gentle inhale through your nose. Inhale through your nose and count to 4. And hold that just gently for 2. Make sure your shoulders drop. And now exhale through your mouth for 6. Count. Okay, we're going to do that again. Just being gentle, being soft, being present. Inhaling through your nose for a count of 4. Holding for 2. Exhaling for 6. Allow your shoulders to drop and notice how your body feels. Preferably you're leaning against a chair or something back in your back. Again, we'll start breathing in for 4. Holding for 2. And for 6. Again, in. And out. Nice and slow. One more time. And tell your body you're safe, that you are supported, that all is well. Use this mantra as you continue this breathing. You can continue this after we close as well, but breathing in. You are safe. Hold. You are supported. Exhale. All is well. Yeah. You don't have to prove anything to anybody at all at this moment. Yeah. So, what if you just slow down? Allow the sacred feminine to be in that space with you and be in that pause and give yourself permission to take a break. Even if the laundry isn't done, just take a break. So say no. If you are feeling that that's something that you want to do and you don't have to explain, just say no. To take a nap, like I said, take that nap. To cry, feel your emotions. Totally okay. We're meant to feel our emotions. And to feel something, this one's big. So hold on, I'm going to repeat it. Feel something without needing to fix it. To feel something, whatever it's in your surroundings. Maybe you're feeling somebody else's pain or suffering. And then just being there and holding the space for that without needing to fix that other being or yourself. Sometimes it's just not going to get a solution. There's no solution that's going to happen in the moment or in that day. Maybe it'll happen later, but recognize it'll resolve itself when it is the time for it to do that. And then we all have that cycle within us, that natural ebb and flow of what is going to emerge, what is going to pause, and trusting that we all have that. Every single one of us has that, but we aren't here to necessarily assert to others that that's how it is, just being there ourselves. And like I said, if that works for you, that works for you. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And I'm here to just share this message, to bring in this perspective that it's okay to be in your sacred feminine energy and to be more at ease and to create some balance in your life. And yeah, I hope that it does speak to you, that you are relating. The next episode, I will be talking about the sacred masculine energy and what that looks like in all the different ways in our life as human beings. And then, yeah, if you are interested in this, something you think somebody else would be interested in, I invite you to share it with another person or to write a review, to share, make comments. And then, if you are interested in any of my holotropic breathwork workshops, I have several coming up. I'll put those in the show notes. And in any case, I hope you have a beautiful day. Keep breathing, keep softening, and enjoy the sacredness of your inner feminine energy. Be well and blessings.